So hello and welcome to the second Yellow Talk Show with me and Marlo. Today we'll be running through transfers, squads, pre-season, how game week 1 went for every team, and then we'll be looking towards the future, like breakout players and who's going to do well this season. So with Marlo today,
Hello.
we'll be running through pre-season first.
So first of all, the most competitive of the three pre-season tournaments will have been the London Conference Cup, in which 4 of the teams competing in it were in Division 1. So Group A for that was Bromley, Maylands and Paddington, Group B being South Croydon, Guildley and Westminster. So Matt, what did you think of the performances of each team in Group A?
I thought everyone was quite shy, to be honest. Paddington didn't look very good to drew with Maylands. Maylands did really well to draw with Bromley. They conceded a late equaliser but still went through to the semis, where they were beat 6-2 by South Croydon. Of course, at the Old Depot. Then in Group B, we had South Croydon and Guildsley go through ahead of a squadless Westminster. They only played one game, I think, if I am correct. And then it was Bromley and Guildsley in the other semi-final. Of course, we saw Guildley completely bottle it after being 2 goals up. They dropped all the way to a 6-5 lead, a 6-5 deficit, sorry. And then, of course, in the final, 7-1. What happened to
Big collapse from Bromley. However, happily, we've seen with the league, as those two met, that result isn't necessarily representative of their season. However, staying back to pre-season, the main problem for Bromley in that game was the lack of a keeper. Every single South Croydon shot, if it was on target, would find its way into the back of the net. Happily, they've solved that problem somewhat, but lack of keeper is definitely still an issue for Bromley even now.
Yeah, there's talks of them getting the Birmingham keeper on loan and swapping them for one of their young prospects for them to develop into Div 3. Anyway, moving on to the Northern Conference Cup.
Probably the least competitive of all the cups in it, with a grand total of 0 Division 1 teams, with most of the teams in it being from Division 2. A couple of surprise results in this one. For example, in Group A, East Riding ended up topping the group, which, when Genlin was in charge of Salford, probably wouldn't have been a surprise. However, with Malcolm in charge of Salford, that would be slightly unusual, I would suggest, given that East Riding aren't the greatest team in Division 2, and Salford probably are. Group B, on the other hand, went pretty much as expected. Eastbrook and Lock topping the group, both very close with each other, and Halewood not really having a look in at all, finishing with a minus 12 goal difference, conceding 14 times in 2 matches.
For Halewood, they did have good support throughout the group, though. I think he had second best to off, really.
And then the semi-finals. Semi-final 1 was between the winners of Group A and the runners-up of Group B, which was East Riding and Lock. I'm going to kick Poch.
Yeah. So, yeah, of course, we saw the absolute smashing of East Riding. That was a great day at the Salford Rangers Stadium. And I think Poch has been...
Right, so East Riding won 4 Lock in the end. Lock, as the runners-up, were having a bit of a problem with confidence at the time because of a couple of defeats, results not going their way. However, the victory over East Riding was a massive boost for them and provided some sort of relief for Lock. In the other semi-finals, did Salford forfeit? I think they did.
Yeah,
Didn't they? Yeah.
yeah, they just didn't have a squad turn up for some reason.
So Eastbrook pretty much got a free pass to the finals, at which point they took on Lock, and Zantastic, on loan from Sonic, decided to get himself sent off immediately, which was a brilliant decision, and some could argue cost Lock the game. Also, the lack of a goalkeeper didn't help either.
Yeah, a 1-0 goal, of course, in the final. He did really, really well, but
And I've just
he's on the
realised a mistake on the spreadsheet as it says Lock beat Eastbrook 5-2. But Womble had to go in goal as the makeshift keeper, as Classic decided to crash his car in real life, which meant he couldn't get to the game.
Lovely stuff.
As you do. And I think it's fair to say Locke completely outplayed Eastbrook in the game, but man of the match was Eastbrook's keeper, who is Yamino.
Yeah, of course, very good prospect in Yamino's first season in ECL, and we'll talk more about him later. Southern Conference Cup then. There was one match played in this,
Yeah.
in the group stages at least. It was Ramsgate nearly beating Maidenhead. It was a fantastic game, really. Just Maidenhead absolutely scraped the win and then celebrated like they won the competition. Of course,
We'll get back to
picking up.
Maidenhead celebrating like they've won stuff in a second. But the semi-finals were... Okay, so Marlborough had to forfeit their semi-finals against Maidenhead due to not having enough players. And the other semi-finals was an interesting game of football in which Sonning played Ramsgate. This was a game where only one team was really expected to win, but the margin of the win was probably slightly less expected, as Sonning beat Ramsgate 10-0.
Yeah, and the thing was that we were actually like a bit scared of a shock with it being a pre-season tournament, having not played in quite a while, and then we just smashed them 10-0.
Yeah.
Which was just absolute bliss as we went to Jubilee Park, where an absolute miracle happened. Do you want to talk us through?
Right, so Maidenhead versus Sonning, the Berkshire derby between the older Berkshire side and the brand new rebranded Berkshire side. The two sides sit just 8 miles from each other, so it was always going to be a brilliant match when these two met. In pre-season, the two were very evenly matched when they met, and well, the game is probably one of the best finals in ECL. Sonning took the 1-0 lead quite early on. Then Maidenhead came back into it. I can't even remember when Sonning's second goal came. It was pretty much... did we go 2-1 up, or was it an equaliser?
It was an equal.
Okay, so it went... Sonning went 1-0 up, then it went 1-1. Maidenhead went 2-1 up, then it went 2-2. Then Maidenhead made it 3-2 on like the 80th minute. And then 89 minutes in, Wizento decided to curse Maidenhead as they scored to make it 4-2, at which point he screams, "We've won it." Oh dear. As soon as that happened, Dino pointed out to him, "You shouldn't say that." 92 minutes in, I think Wrangler got a goal for Sonning to get back into it. And 93 minutes in, our king from Brighton, Womble, decided to take a shot, which wasn't the greatest.
Connor.
Oh, was it
It was
Connor?
Connor.
Oh,
Yeah.
same shit. Either way, took the shot, went over the keeper. Keeper just had an interesting moment, at which point he went to 4-4. And Wizento's "We've won it" came back to bite him. However, it wasn't done at this point. Yeah, it was Womble. Or was it?
Shit.
Right, was it Womble and not Wrangler? I don't know.
I think it was. Hang on, I'll post a gif in.
Yeah, okay, so it was Womble made it 4-3, and then Connor made it 4-4. Anyway, Wizento then was probably regretting his words, but it wasn't over at this point, as it then went to a penalty shootout. And, well, little did we all know, Nutu, who was having a poor game against Maidenhead, decided that he is actually the greatest keeper alive when it comes to penalties, and proving that he is not an Englishman. As Sonning went on to beat Maidenhead 3-1 on penalties. What a time to be alive, that
Absolutely
was.
fantastic. Joe is now our penalty taker after slotting one home after I pointed out he's never missed one. And it was just a great shootout, great night. I genuinely still can't believe that we did that. And it was
Yeah,
only
and
a
I
week
also
ago.
disconnected in the 90th minute, so I didn't get to see either of the final 2 goals.
But I tell you what, it was absolutely brilliant. Wizento saying that they've won it, and then them just conceding that. It's just bliss. Right, so top 3 games of the competitions.
Well, I mean, we both know what number 1 is.
Yeah. The Southern Conference Cup final. Then,
Probably then would be Bromley Guildley.
yeah, that's it as well. It
And
was a great match.
Then
Especially today.
either East Riding Lock, because that was quite close until the second half, or Lock Eastbrook, because that was a really good game up until about the 89th minute.
Yeah, I thought Maitland's Bromley was really good, though. It did feel
I
a bit
forgot
like a
about that,
friendly.
yeah.
Yeah, it felt a bit like a friendly, but at the same time, it was a really good contest.
Yeah. And ultimately, it did get Maylands past Paddington, which is what they needed to do to make it through to the next stage.
And a bit of a shout out to Ramsgate nearly pulling off the most shocking result of the competition. Sorry, losing off 6-4. Yeah. Right, moving on then.
Wait a minute, I just realised. Ramsgate lost 6-4 to Maidenhead and then lost 10-0 to Sonning. What's happened there then? Right, so moving on.
Don't know.
Game week 1. So let's get the results from game week 1 up. So obviously today is Tuesday. The final game of game week 1 was yesterday.
Yeah.
The first games of game week 1 was it the Division 1 matches?
No,
it was Division 3. It was Halewood versus Maylands, where neither side turned up, so it was a 0-0 draw. Brilliant.
Wow.
Then other Division 3 games with Birmingham Athletic versus Marlborough, where Marlborough didn't turn up, so that was 3-0 to Birmingham. Division 3 with a bit of a common trend here. However, then we did get a game, Ramsgate versus North Preston, in which, from what the Ramsgate manager was saying, the refereeing may have been slightly questionable. In that, well, not even just the Ramsgate manager, I think everyone pretty much agreed the refereeing was terrible. But either way, North Preston got the 5-1 win, which means they now top the league. So Division 3 as it stands is North Preston top with 3 points and 4 goal difference. Birmingham in second with 3 points and 3 goal difference. Halewood and Maylands joint third with 1 point and no goal difference, was a draw. And Marlborough fifth with no points minus 3 goal difference. Ramsgate sixth with no points minus 4 goal difference following the heavy defeat to North Preston.
Oh shit, that's wrong. No, it's not. Okay.
No.
I thought it was 4-1. Yeah, of course we saw ECL Hub didn't actually get a Div 3 game in, so we never actually saw that. So Division 3 predictions. Who do you think's going to get the playoffs, and who do you think will win the league?
The thing with Division 3 is ability means very little in terms of actual league position. It's all about who turns up and when they turn up. But I would say North Preston have to be the clear favourites to win it. Probably then Ramsgate, I would suggest. Maybe Maylands if they can get a squad together at some point.
Yeah. I think
Hale would have finished, and I'd say Marlborough are pretty dead as well. So Birmingham with probably with an all right chance of the playoffs. I'd say it's between Birmingham and Marlborough for the final playoff spot.
Definitely. That does depend if Marlborough starts to turn up again. They were quite active. Division 2 then, starting off with the Eastbrook game. We saw an absolute thrashing of James Garland's Eastbrook side.
With a Jezinho masterclass. Jezinho through last season was with Sussex Albion and didn't win a single game which actually started. They won 1 game and that was a forfeit.
It's great to see.
And then Jezinho went ahead and scored 7 versus what many people were considering the title favourites. I think those many people are reconsidering their betting slips now following that one.
Of course, that's scoring 7 against the best keeper.
Yeah.
Well,
Yamino didn't have a great day at the office. He made quite a few errors, which was quite unusual, to be honest. He doesn't do that. So who knows what went wrong for him. But happily, for literally 17 of the 18 teams in ECL, it did go wrong for him and Eastbrook lost. So James Garland... Well, no, not James Garland, because, I mean, it is James Garland. He just claims he's French now. Either way, James Garland, unlucky pal. Staying down.
course,
Cheerio.
you can go and have a look at the highlight on ECL Hub's YouTube channel with the game week 1 roundup of that. So we saw the North to win the next game.
Yep.
3-0 it
Lock
was.
versus Salford. Again, two teams were widely predicted to be in the top 3 come the end of the season in Lock and Salford. Salford didn't get a single player turning up. Lock had 12.
Poor guys. Imagine turn up either, because actually out at the time. Anyway, East Riding versus Sussex. This was a great game, this really.
Very decent game.
So
Quality was quite clearly worse than Westminster Eastbrook, but for actual entertainment value, it really wasn't that bad at all. Slightly interesting goalkeeping at both ends of the pitch, but, well, I mean, the thing is, both sides really lacked creativity in this game, and it was pretty much just, I think, as soon as East Riding took the lead, they went to 4 at the back, which worked in all fairness, so can't really complain too much. But the star man of the day for East Riding was the senior from Sonning, Shady Sin, or Jack as we know him, who managed to get himself a brace with a lovely finish from a cross and a penalty. With the other goal, who scored the other goal? I can't even remember.
It was safe, and it was a Shady assist as well.
Oh, well then. So Shady with a great day at the office. Sussex, in all fairness to them, weren't bad at all. I'd say they were probably the better side of the two for the majority of the game. But the problem is they just couldn't find their way into the box. Their goal eventually, when it did come, came from Firepork, which I believe was to make it 1-1 at the time. And Yosefsa got the assist to that. Quite a clean game as well, with only Yosefsa getting a yellow card, I think. Oh wait, no, only Yosefsa getting a yellow.
Yeah, not that bad for Div 2 so far. Maybe Salford just needs to be a bit more consistent on their activity. Seen 2 autos under new management already, which I think wasn't have happened under Gemma. And of course, the squad's improved absolutely
The squad
massively.
is much better. The
Yeah,
thing
the
is, they're
last one
probably the
couldn't
best.
kick a ball.
They could be the best team in the league, but the problem is that doesn't do anything if you don't turn up.
Yeah, so table for Division 2, and we'll do predictions for it as well. Westminster go top after the first game week after their 7-3 thrashing of Eastbrook. Luff sitting second after an also win. East Riding sitting third. Sussex take up the final playoff place despite losing. And then Salford and Eastbrook sit in the relegation places, even though they are probably both of the favourites to go up. So predictions for this?
I mean, I'm just gonna have to be biased here. I honestly can't see anyone but Lock winning the league. Our squad all round is very solid for Division 2, and we have about 3 or 4 players who I think could easily make it in Division 1. So I'm going to go with Lock to win the league. Probably after seeing that performance, Westminster in second, because I reckon Eastbrook, the squad I feel like this will really hit them hard. So I don't think we'll be seeing them playing at their best for a while yet. But I would say maybe Salford in third if they actually turn up to matches, Eastbrook fourth, and then to go down, East Riding and Sussex.
Yeah, be very unlucky for East Riding if they do go down. Of course, with a good senior, we could see a shock with Eastbrook, but
East Riding, I think, absolutely could make it into the playoffs and maybe even get second place, but they're going to need to be more consistent and just, hope that Salford and Eastbrook keep having those sort of days.
Yeah, that's the thing with Division 2 this season. You have either the playoff semi-finals or relegation. It's that simple.
You go up, you have a chance to go up, or you just go down. And I'd say the only team which I would say right now is pretty much set in stone to go down is Sussex. The playing squad just isn't really what it needs to be. Saying that they played better than East Riding, but the thing is they didn't get the goals and they didn't defend well enough, which, if you keep doing that, you're going to go down. So
yeah, so the Giants Division 1 game week 1. We saw an also in the first game.
Yeah,
which has been
as Maidenhead have pretty much given up on the league, apparently, according to their chairman, following their points deduction because Wizento still, after 3 seasons, hasn't learnt the rules of ECL. So Maidenhead haven't bothered to turn up for their opening game against Guildley Town, which meant that Guildley took the 3-0 win, which, I'm absolutely sure they would have been really happy with, even if they didn't get to play. Because I think had Maidenhead turned up, it would have been a very difficult game for Guildley Town. I think the two would have probably had quite a decent game because Guildley have massively improved over the last week. But I reckon Maidenhead would have still had them purely on how well the squad know each other and how reachy they are.
Yeah, Bromley, South Croydon next to South London Derby, of course, being game week 1 for the last 3 seasons now, always been a good game. And it was certainly a good game this year as well.
The two met in the pre-season cup just before the game week 1 for the league, and if you just watch that, you would imagine South Croydon would absolutely smash them. However, in the actual game, Bromley actually were probably the better side for the entire game. Poyer was very impressive going forwards. Defensively, they weren't that bad either. The problem was, one, Harry was on fire for some reason, and more importantly, their goalkeeper. Oh my god.
Yeah, they have an issue with that.
In that
at
their
the minute,
goalkeeper, when the ball was going into the top corner, decided to jump down the middle of the goal.
Yeah, it's certainly
Twice.
still an issue with them, even though they try to sort it time and time again. Never used to be an issue with them. With Serbach, I think it was in goal for them. And it's really, really sad to see, to be honest, because they are a great side. But
one of the oldest sides as well, aren't they?
Yeah, I think but they should do well.
Or third, actually, probably. Third or
Not
fourth,
sure.
actually, probably. They're younger than Locke. They're younger than Paddington. Maidenhead older.
Yeah.
Okay, so
if you don't count the rebound.
Might still be Westminster, but whatever. Anyway, then this one, Monday Night Football, the first ever special Monday Night Football sort of weekend game sort of thing, added new for the season. Not played in front of too many fans because I don't think anyone could be bothered coming on the Monday night for a game where the result was going, well, fairly clear from, well, straight away. As Sonning took on Paddington on ECL Hub. So you can watch the highlights for that if you like. If you've got a while, though, because they're quite long. Sonning managed to beat Paddington 9-2. In all fairness to Paddington, they've had to go through quite a lot with their manager, well, leaving, and then their replacement manager being banned from the league. So their old manager had to come back, which is RPG. He did a good job for his team and went in goal. And whilst he was being criticised a bit during the game for not making some saves, which he probably should have made, you really can't blame a striker who's going in goal for the cause for conceding at all. And even at the start of the second half, he made 3 or 4 really good saves. So
Yeah, of course, the first competitive game at Hibbert Road, if you want.
Well, first league game.
Kind of. Yeah, first league game.
First competitive game. In Cup.
Yeah, but definitely a really good result for Sonning. Getting a 7 goals difference and putting them, of course, top of the league, which we've been raving out since last night.
The commentary team of Harrison and Malcolm picked up almost immediately that the 2 at the back formation, which Paddington went with against one of the better attacking sides in the league, perhaps wasn't wise, and Sonning very much made them pay for their. Could you call it complacency? Probably not, but we'll go with it anyway.
I think they're a very attacking side, and if you are a very attacking side, you've got to make striker full of squad, no midfield, like 2 defenders. Good Sammy couldn't turn up, and Potch had to play, which isn't the best. He's only ever made 3 Division 1 appearances.
But again, at least he did it, I guess. Better than the players who didn't come, because the Paddington squad sheet has
16 people on it.
17 players on it, of which
it's got more
6
than us.
turned up.
It's got more than us.
Yeah, they have a full squad sheet. Actually, to be fair, Good Sammy also tried to come, but he couldn't get in because his internet was horrendous. And someone else tried to join. Hang on.
Gabu.
Yeah, Gab.
Gabu, he just never joined.
Yeah.
Anyway, so league table, Sonning top, South Croydon second. They got good win against Bromley. Guildley sit third with it also. Bromley, despite losing, stay out of the relegation zone. It's Paddington, and Amazing has a negative point. So we do see Sonning 6 points clear of Maidenhead, first to 6. which you just love to see, don't you?
You do.
Anyway, so league predictions for this year, it's very hard to call between Sonning and South Croydon, of course, so we'll see what
I
happens.
think to go down following Maidenhead having the minus deduction and Fire saying that the playing squad doesn't really care about the league makes me think they will probably be the one who joins Paddington in the relegation places, because if they don't want it, then they're not going to turn up. And I mean, if they're not going to turn up, they're going to just lose every game. And especially with Guildley and Bromley both being very decent sides in their own right, it's going to be very difficult for Maidenhead to get out of this position. They're 6 points behind Guildley, who were the team who were pretty much tipped to finish fifth. And 6 points, well, they're going to have to outplay them quite considerably throughout the course of the season. I think Paddington are also very much a write-off for the season already. The playing squad doesn't care at all. The team isn't great in itself. The goalkeepers can't be bothered. And even if they did have a full squad, I reckon they'd struggle against other teams in the league. So I would say they're fairly comfortably going to be at the bottom. But then the top four gets a bit more difficult because Sonning, South Croydon, Guildley, and Bromley are all very good sides. Out of the four, I would say the worst is probably Bromley, purely because of the lack of a goalkeeper. Because if you can just hit one from 30 yards and it goes in every time, then you're going to lose every game. So I would probably guess Bromley to come fourth. Guildley, I would put third. And then Sonning, South Croydon.
You can't decide. You really, really can't. Because it's
The thing is,
the
it genuinely
difference between.
depends on the day, because I genuinely reckon it will be whichever of the two gets better results against the lower sides. Like if either of them drop points against, say, a Paddington or a well, I'm not going to say Bromley because they're perfectly good and perfectly capable of taking points away from us. But okay, if they were to drop points against Paddington, for example, that would completely change the league. However, equally, I'd say Sonning versus South Croydon, the two games between those two, if either side can do the double, they will win the league.
Yeah, of course, both home grounds as well really do have a big effect on games. We've seen South Croydon win games just because they're playing at the old depot, because they're more used to it than other teams. Of course, Hibbert Road being one of the biggest fortresses in ECL so far, 100% win record,
Yep.
19 goal scores in 2 games. You know, it's looking really, really good.
And
So,
with 2 conceded in the 2 as well.
yeah.
So what's your predictions for Division 1 then?
I can't get it. I've got to go the same relegations for you. Guildsley and Bromley will have a good fight for third and fourth, but I think it's either going to be South Croydon or Sonning. If we don't win the league, they can easily see us winning the ECL Cup as well. Oh yeah, ECL trophy predictions. That's between Division 2 and Division 3. Who'll win that?
Wait, what are the between Division 2 and Division 3?
Yeah.
Again, the problem with cup games is they're literally impossible to predict, because if on the day one team doesn't turn up, they're out. That's it. It's a straight knockout competition, meaning realistically, Salford, I would say, are the best Division 2 team. However, if they don't turn up to games, they're going to get knocked out. It's as simple as that. So
I think it'll be Rough Salford in the final, and we'll see what happens from there.
I reckon Salford will probably not turn up to the semis or something, because
Yeah,
it's a
so
midweek
like that.
competition and they didn't turn up to a weekend game, so I'm not too confident about them turning up to a midweek game.
Yeah.
Ow. I reckon Westminster could also be a dark horse for that as well, because as they showed, they're better than Eastbrook. Haha. So this is the thing though, the cup, literally, if Westminster get drawn against Lock in the semi-finals and they can't be in the finals together, it literally, oh, I hate cups. No, well no I don't, but like I hate predicting cups. So
Yeah. ECL Cup then. Too hard to call really, but
yeah, again, I mean,
we'll
it's
see.
just on the day. Realistically, it will be a Division 1 side. It could even be Maidenhead, because if they don't care about the league and they focus all of their efforts on the ECL Cup, then there's absolutely no reason whatsoever why they couldn't win the Cup. The only problem is if they don't turn up to the league every week, then they're going to be much more out of practice than the other teams around them, less sharp for the game, and, well, possibly risk a giant killing from a Division 2 side.
Yeah.
Or a Ramsgate.
or Ramsgate.
Um, yeah, I actually think it will be someone like Gildley. I don't think Sonning or South Croydon will do it. I just can absolutely see an absolute bottle job. Like, Sean won't go in goal for South Croydon for one game. Alf will go in goal, do passing around the back. Something stupid will happen. They'll lose some penalties to like Gildley or something. Phil will go mental and nut himself to sleep, and Gildley win the cup or something like that.
Anyway, first qualifying round for that is on ECL Hub on the 24th of July. It's on a Wednesday, 8 p.m. Because it's going to be Maylands versus Marlborough High Street Green. There's a terrorist attack threatened by our
Yeah.
Other game is North Preston Ramsgate. That's certainly going to be very good. Anyway, moving on to the signings that people have made.
Or even just the squads in general, because we haven't done that yet. So, if we go to each of the squads, should we go Division 3 first?
Yeah, go ahead.
So every single Division 3 team is brand new for this season, besides Birmingham Athletic, who are a returning club. So all of them have completely new players on their squad sheets. Maylands were looking like they would be the standout team in Division 3, but sadly for them, I've bought their entire playing squad. So that probably won't happen. But key players to watch out for in Division 3. Birmingham have... Wait, what? Well, I've just found out Birmingham have Maciej, but he's a senior, so I don't think he counts towards it. Ivan for Maylands has proved to be a decent keeper at times. Has some poor games, but sometimes he's quite decent. Who else is there who really stands out here? I mean, North Preston, Youssef scored twice and got an assist on his debut.
Yeah, who else is there? Joseph is very good. He just didn't get any goals or assists. He was like brilliant in some of their friendlies. King's a decent keeper. Henry's on holiday, I think, so we can't do much. PCI used to play for Sussex. He was
I remember him. He's quite decent.
Yeah, he's looking very good for Div 3 as well.
Yeah.
Like really, really on top. Moving on to Halewood, the absolute tragedy.
Yeah. They've got a squad there, but none of them are actually going to play. So
yeah,
we can
and the
just
senior's just senior's just a very
right
stupid
player, but he's just like I don't think he really turns up a lot.
You could
I
get
haven't
better.
seen him play in Division 2 yet.
No, but you could get a lot better people than Reese for the senior.
Then you've got Marlborough though. They've got Zentoro as a senior. That's a very decent one.
Yeah,
because he's one of the best strikers in Division 2. So
yeah, Paul from Halewood is a very good centre back as well. Builds and Ass is alright. Duke is a good midfielder. Don't think he's going to turn up. That's it, really.
And then looking at Ramsgate's squad, I didn't realise it's actually quite a decent squad. They've got some players there who I actually recognise, which is quite alright. They've got half of the Frost family. Cringe. They've got Male 2015, who's probably the most annoying person I've ever come across.
Oh yeah, he said that. He said Ramsgate would have won 10-0 before the semi, and then we beat them 10-0.
Yeah, I know.
Oh yeah, and we had Jack challenge us to a friendly saying he's going to win.
Saying they would smash us, and then they didn't.
Beat them like 8.
One interesting thing I've just come across is I'm looking at the squad sheets. It took Noe Martirez one game to get sent off. You love to see it.
Oh dear. Of course, Ghosty used to play for Gills. He's alright. He's a decent attacker. Can score a few.
Who are we saying are the top 3 Division 3 players who aren't seniors?
What I am thinking is I'm going to go first is a really, really hard decision, but I'm going to go with Youssef, I think.
I think I would
North
go
Preston.
with Pitty from North Preston, Bryson, whatever.
Yeah, it's a composition between all them, really.
I mean, I reckon you could probably make an argument for one of the Maylands or Ramsgate players getting involved in it.
Robo especially, he's very good, but he doesn't turn up a lot.
Yeah.
There's talks of them being in and out. We won't come into that.
Jack Frost isn't too bad either.
Yeah, but he can just get caught in the wrong position sometimes.
Yeah, but it's
yeah, it doesn't matter too much, but he's an alright defender, and he did score on the first game of the season. We also have Ivan, very good keeper. He used to play for Sonning, and then we released him because he was shite. But he's gone a bit better now, which is good to see. Distinctive, of course, that's Pink Travelling for life. He used to play for Sussex, he's terrible. But he could have a good season in Div 3, you never know.
Right. Then on to
But
Division
that's
2.
it, really, yeah.
So most of these squad sheets are actually quite full. Lock, despite being the most active team in the league, have the smallest of the squad sheets in the league. Looking at the teams around, Eastbrook, obviously very decent playing squad, however they got massacred. Haha. If we're going off non-seniors, they've got some very good players in there with Razik, Domo, James, Garland, when he turns
Yamino.
up, Yamino.
Attempted alright.
No, he's not. So yeah, also Attempted's not going to be playing for Eastbrook anymore because he's still annoyed at them. Anyway, so that's the key players from Eastbrook, with Razik actually getting a hat trick against Westminster.
Didn't
On
matter
to
though.
East Riding.
It's alright. It's
all
not
right.
good.
The problem is Iron has even turned up this season. I've not seen him yet.
No, I think he turns up to one pre-season game and plays a half, and then got.
It's a decent choice of senior in Samu and Shady because they're both active strikers.
Yeah.
But
I
who
just
really
don't see
stands
the
out
defence.
there?
Nederson's
Surf
very
is
good.
all right. Nedison's all right. Undercover Tommy is quite good actually.
Yeah, they've got a good
He's a defender,
defensive
isn't he?
midfield. But I think they need a good non-senior striker and an active
Didn't
one
they
at
get Tommy from Eastbrook?
that. Yeah,
He played for us, didn't he?
yeah, but he didn't
Back in
play a
East
game for
United,
us.
yeah. Well, no, he didn't play. He played in inverted commas, as in he was on the squad sheet. Right,
Yeah.
now the team I know best, Lock United, my boys. So we've got the best senior in the league in Womble, fact. Off playing squad, the key players here would be II Nonce, who is probably the best defender in Division 2, including
By far.
seniors. Including seniors. Then we've got HTTPS got in team of the season for his performances in the cup, so that could be a very decent signing. Ernest obviously has been very good in many other leagues, so this one could potentially well, if he's already quite good, but he needs to just like get his head down and he can probably be one of the best. And then obviously there's Zentario and Ventura, who are just both brilliant finishers, to be honest.
Yeah, fantastic as well, on loan from the famous Sonning FC.
As long as he learns how to not hack people down just because he can't reach a football,
Yeah.
it'll be all right.
He's been really good in midfield so far, good attacking rather than defending, which was his original position, which we trained him in. Parker's a good signing. I still don't know how he's playing ECL at all, really.
Yeah.
But he's been decent so far in midfield.
Right,
Moving on then.
Westminster. So Westminster's squad is very much related to the old Birmingham Athletic. Some players who you would definitely remember, such as Yusko, Morgan, Murphy, good Sammy, who's our senior though. Then they've got some of the new signings. They got Toby from us, who is.
No, they got Toby from Gilsey. He's been moved around quite a bit.
He's been moved around for fun because no one really wanted him. Jorginho managed to get 7 on his debut. Like,
he's unbelievable,
wow.
really.
Big
yeah,
wow.
he's definitely going to get top scorer this season, I think. I can't see anyone beating 7 in one game.
Yeah, I mean,
that's
he's
just
going to be one of
ridiculous.
the top scorers already, and he's only played once. Sussex, then.
Tragic.
Fire,
Fire, Masic, kind of Reese, Fire and Elias are good seniors.
I think having looked at the other squads, it is quite clear what the worst squad in the league is, actually.
Yeah, the defence is a bit fucked. Bernardo 1-2-1-2, the Paddington reject. Poor fella.
Barca Xavi, who's called Barca, yet supports some other team.
Yeah, it supports Arsenal when he's called Barca, sick Xavi. Fire's a really good signing though from Bromley. I'll give them that. And then we have Salford, who albeit are not the most active squad, but certainly have a very good squad.
Yeah, some very impressive players in there, such as Alfsky. Is that Alf Frost or is that someone else?
That's it's the other Alfie.
Oh, okay. They've got Pigeon. They've got Fabian.
Actually, no, it is Alf. It is off
Is it?
last year.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's a good keeper. They've got Evil. That's a very talented squad, to be fair. But again, the
Yeah.
problem is turning up. Even Leo was quite decent when I last saw him.
Yeah, Pigeon's, of course, one of the best centre backs in the league, full stop,
So top 3 players in Division 2 who aren't seniors.
who aren't seniors.
Yeah.
I'm going to counter pick a goalkeeper for the best player, really. So I'm going to have to
Okay,
go
go with
for
the best goalkeeper. I mean,
okay,
actually,
best
it's
keeper.
Firmino. We both know that.
Definitely
Right,
Firmino,
carrying on.
I would say
Outfield,
Santoro.
yeah.
Santoro should definitely be the best player in Division 2. He's just absolutely brilliant. Great goal scorer, took a step down to
The thing is,
carry on playing.
Zentoru is a fantastic striker, but II Nonce is an equally fantastic defender. So for me,
Yeah.
I'd put him as number 1. Then between Zentoru and probably James Garland or Razik for number 2.
Yeah, and then
3.
I think Jacinho should be at least top 3 because he has improved
Eh,
quite a bit. Scoring 7 against Jamino is not easy. Like,
the funny thing is I genuinely think I still wouldn't start him if he was at lock. But either way, because I would rather start Ventura and Zentoru
yeah,
than Womble.
I don't think Vansters turns off enough to be in the
He
top
turned
3,
up
but he
for the
is,
one league game we've had though, so
yeah, but he is a very good playmaker and a very good finisher. He can get the job done for literally anyone. So,
also I've just noticed a mistake on the spreadsheet for Division 1. You've got 4 Euros played twice already and he hasn't.
shit.
Right, so Division 1 then. Starting off with Bromley. I mean, the star players here, I mean, it's Foyer. I mean, he's
Yeah.
one of the best players I've ever seen in my life, to be honest. He's
For
sick.
your fires, alright.
Delhi.
Delhi's one of the best strikers in the league, non-stop. They're struggling with a keeper.
Yeah.
Kinney's alright. He's doing well for the games that he's played, which is known in the league, but he's doing well in pre-season. Arms being alright on his return, he really needs to play midfield rather than goal. And then Benedict's a good playmaker, but I don't think he's going to turn up this season. And of course, you talk about Slam, but he doesn't really play as a striker anymore. He's more at the back. Sonning Football Club. Let's go.
Right.
Morrow, brilliant.
Yeah, 4 goals from centre mid. Your centre mid could never. Right. Then other key players in the squad. Ex-Destroyer Joe, one of the best centre backs in ECL now. He wins everything.
Used to be a terrible midfielder, to be quite honest. We just shoved him centre back, gave him played.
When in pre-season, you and last season, you were looking a bit shaky at times. However, I think yesterday was on the best of senior play. If you can keep that up, then you could potentially be a star man for us as well. Then you've obviously got Jez and Womble. I mean, again,
that
man gives me orgasms. Jez, his reach is so useful. Like 3 goals, 2 assists on his debut, and then of course, possible outsider for a player who could surprise, Shady Sin.
Blair as well, if he turns.
Blair as well, if he turns up ever. He's impossible to contact though.
Yeah, he's unbelievable though at centre back. He's a great pick up for us.
Yeah. Then Guildley Town.
At all.
Star players, Malcolm obviously.
Malcolm, Phil's gotten a lot better to the centre back.
Good.
Still not that good. Yeah,
Paulo
that's a great signing.
Mario Götze is also a brilliant signing.
Mario
Götze.
Yeah. Mario Götze. Fazuka's a very good signing. I don't think he'll turn up.
Robertson and Kurt are also good players, but again, I've not seen any of them, so.
Yeah, Black's alright at centre back. Nesso's a good keeper. I don't think he needs him though with the signing with Paulo.
Yeah.
South Croydon.
South Croydon, yeah, I mean, again, a brilliant squad.
Just
Harry
untouchable.
Very much surprised everyone on the opening game week because he wasn't really expected to be one of the top strikers, and he's now the top scorer after game week 1. Dino's obviously class, but his internet's horrendous.
Well, he did really well. He got 3 assists from keeper and one in outfield. Don't know why that's happened again.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And then other key players, I mean, very big hard man is probably the best player in the league, to be honest.
Yeah.
And big baller but when he's not passing straight to Sonning in pre-season friendlies, is quite decent at centre back as well.
And
then they've got Diogo. I forgot about that.
Oh dear.
Right, so
Oh, God.
Paddington.
Yeah, Sean, of course, if he turns up, he's very good.
Yeah, as well.
Um,
If he turns up,
Paddington,
though.
that's
Right,
a tragic
Paddington.
squad. They've got
Ramsey
too
and
many
Test are
attackers.
great, but I mean, yeah, there's just far too many attackers. It's the most top-heavy team I've ever seen in my life.
RPG's good. He's
RPG is
very,
good, yeah.
very good. But
Then you've got Ramsey, Tesk, great players as well. But then you've also got players like Bomber Clot Frost, who are shite.
no, it's literally just
It's literally
you've got
Paddington. You have 3 or 4 really good players, and then it's dead. Right. Final squad in Division 1. Maidenhead. They just don't turn up. Emiliano Sala's good. Let's move on. Right, top 3 players in Division 1.
oh god. Oh no. I hate this one. Because it's just so difficult to call.
Yeah, I'm gonna just go ahead and say it can't be done.
No.
Because literally, there's so many good players in Division 1. Like, you could make an argument for about, like, 20 players being in the top 3.
I'll tell you what, then let's do top 3 attackers, top 3 midfielders,
Okay, yeah, sure.
top
And
3
then best
defenders.
goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Right, because I'm from keeper. Best goalkeeper.
Sure.
Mm,
Could say
Paulo
Paulo, but
Dybala.
I don't know, he needs to make
Surely.
the step up to Div 1.
I think
He's
he's
very
absolutely
good,
fine
though.
to do it.
He's capable of doing it, but he just needs to turn up there.
Yeah. Defenders, Ex-Destroyer Joe.
It's probably one of the
Very
best.
and big. Done. Easy.
Yeah,
That's the dream back 3. And the
genuinely.
thing is, I would still put II Nonce in there if he was in Division 1, but he's not, so he can't count. Midfield. Oh, fucking hell, there's so many.
Womble, you.
Yeah.
We probably have the
Ramsey?
best midfield. Elias, I think. Definitely.
Elias, yeah. Yeah, sure, we'll go with that. And then attack, Jez, Foya,
Yeah.
Dino.
Dino or Harry. I
Or
don't know.
Harry, yeah.
It's between
It's just
Foya and
when
Harry.
Dino. Actually, Malcolm could also be in there, but he's not played a lot, so I don't really think you can judge.
Yeah, he needs to shake off his rusty of this, really.
Yeah, I think
He
as soon
was
as
one.
Malcolm's played 3 or 4 games, I think he will be the best striker in the league. But until then, I think for now we'll give it to Jez. Okay,
Yeah.
right.
No.
Final
Right.
one is try and pick out one prospect who you think will surprise everyone this season in Division 1.
Fucking hell. Shady. Shady.
I'm gonna go.
I think Shady or Paulo.
I reckon it'll be a Guildley player. I think if someone like Robertson or even no, it won't be Ethan Ishite. Robertson or like Thiago, I guess, if he turns up.
Yeah. Think.
Even like Paulo Dybala, I guess it's kind of going to be a surprise, but it's not if you actually watch Division 2.
I think Nutu's going to have a pretty good season. He just needs to get more consistent.
And he needs to stop
during
just
the
kicking
game.
the balls into other teams' players.
Yeah.
Also, Blur could be
questions.
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
great questions.
But he's not a
Time
rookie.
to wrap it up with the questions.
Finally.
Yeah.
Questions. How will losing Ernest across the next 2 game weeks affect Wolf? Guess who it?
Who do they have? They have Sussex first, so I don't think it will affect us too much in that one. Fixtures and results. Then after that, Lock face East Riding again, which should be an easy enough win. So I'm gonna say not a lot, but
Well, it could.
he's still a
it
great
could
player. But like, I don't think the results will change. I think the margin of the win will change. I don't think anything else would.
Well, I've got 3 questions from Phil. Why is Sean bent?
From who?
From Phil.
Phil, right, go for it. First one.
Why is Sean bent?
I mean, Phil's literally bisexual, so we're gonna move that one on. Second question.
Why are ECL TV bad? They're not.
Because it's owned by Sean. Next question.
Who's do we prefer? Guildley or Mason? It's Guildley.
Next. Is there one more, or is that
it? There's one from Sean. What are East Rising's chances of promotion? Avoiding relegation, shocking Eastbrook. There we go.
Yeah.
Oh, one gone. We've got a question. We've got an impromptu one from Pinsoro. Let's go. What was the goal of the tournament Connor? In the pre-season cups?
In the pre-season cups, is it though? I'm not sure. To be fair, I didn't see all the goals. I can't really judge. One of the ones which I thought was quite clever was Maylands against Bromley. in the VC, I made a free kick routine for Maylands and they scored from it, so that was solid. I think Jez, yeah, he's up there for it. I think also James Garland's goal in one of the group games was quite good, where
Oh,
he
yeah.
was in the wrong kit and he just dribbled past everyone and then took it in. That was quite impressive. Overall, didn't really see enough games, I guess. Zentoro also had a few good strikes against Eastbrook, which could be
Oh,
nominated for it.
we've got one more question from Sean, which we've basically already decided. Who's the best team in London?
The best team in London is South Croydon Football Club.
Wow. And
However,
that's it.
my favourite team in London is Bromley. So, moving it on.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
That is
Okay.
a wrap. So from me and
So that
Marlo,
is the second
this
yellow
is
card.
the talk show.
Yeah, talk show. Week
That's good.
1 done. I think we're back in what, 2 weeks?
No, it'll be after game week 2. So
Oh,
yeah,
a week.
well,
Okay, fair
yeah.
enough.
So goodbye from me and Marlo.
Cheerio. Up the ding.